So I believe we have everyone that is registered already on board, and we can start. And if there are still some late comers, they will be to be added to the presentation as they arrive. I'd like to welcome you to today's workshop on PED innovation and collaboration that is titled with Building the Future of Energy. We have here representatives of the Scalable Cities community from various projects: Ascent, InterPED, HARMONISE, PEDvolution, and NEUTRALPATH. You will hear a lot more about them and their representatives throughout the whole workshop. I would like to warmly welcome and introduce also our speakers that are here and the representatives of each one of the projects, and then also the representatives of the Scalable Cities community and the PED cluster that have been so nice to join us today and dedicate some time to us. Please note that we have a very packed agenda. We have prepared for you a lot of interesting presentations, but we also want you to engage with us. And so there will be space for questions. We will first start with introduction of the Scalable Cities community and what is actually the PED cluster that is a part of this community. And then you will see an introduction of each one of the PED cluster projects so that you know what the projects do and how they actually tackle the issues in their cities. Then we will go to the second part of the workshop, that is a thematic discussion panel, where we have, again, other representatives of our projects that are going to be discussing elements of the PEDs, what are PEDs in practice. We will talk about the strategies and implementation for monitoring, also about citizen engagement and social innovation. We will hear about experiences with business models in PEDs, and finally also recommendations to policymakers and cities. As I said, we would like you to engage with us, and also if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to post them either in the chat or raise your hand. The moderator or me, we will give you the space to actually ask the question, and if there will be no time, we will then also produce the answers in an article that will be finalized after this workshop. So no worries, your all your questions will be answered, and you will be also have the possibility to be put in contact with each one of the speakers. Please do note that the meeting is being recorded, and therefore, if you are not in line with the fact that it will be recorded and then posted across the project's website for public viewing, either exit the meeting now or please do not show your face if you are not comfortable with that. I believe that we are now okay to start. We have most of the latecomers also incoming during this introduction, and so we can fully dedicate ourselves to the workshop. So welcome and enjoy. My name is Veronica Cerna. I'm from 20 Communications, and I'm here representing Scalable Cities, but also one of the Horizon Europe projects called Ascent. I would like to introduce you a bit more into the Scalable Cities community. That is an initiative of the European Commission to support all of the smart cities and communities projects that need to identify and promote solutions and business models so that they can be scaled up and replicated across Europe. They have a wide range of solutions, everything from mobility to citizen engagement to digital technologies, data platforms, but also dedicate a lot of their time to new business models and city governance. This initiative has been actually also grassroots initiative that was started almost 12 years ago, and is continuing to kind of nurture a community of practitioners and city representatives and experts that are here to collaborate and work together to help each other to either deploy the projects in lighthouse cities, and those are the pilot projects, or then in either follower or multiplier cities who take over the solutions and try to replicate and scale them up in their own city or in their own district. Currently, the community counts 28 smart cities and communities and PED projects, and is spanned across 134 unique cities. And you can see on the map that really the spread is Europe-wide. Some of them, so 48 of them, are lighthouse cities. As I mentioned, those are the ones that are piloting solutions. And then we have 73 fellow or multiplier cities, and those are the ones that are not only following, but also trying to define the strategies and business models and set up the environment for the solutions to be implemented in their own city. 36 of these are actually PED cities, meaning those are the cities that are implementing positive energy districts, which are the ones that you will be hearing a lot more about today. The Scalable Cities has a secretariat, which is where also I come from, and the secretariat offers a wide range of services to the community, everything from organizing city coordinators group that helps coordinators to come together and exchange their knowledge, skills, problems, and how to solve them, to then supporting the cities and their partners with an action grant if they want to, for example, pilot a small project or do a feasibility study, to actually deploying experts and expert groups into various technical areas, or offer peer-to-peer support. So not only to the city coordinators, but also other representatives of the projects and cities, where they can actually call on to their peers from other cities, other projects, for additional support with any kind of technical problems they may have in the implementation of the project. We also are organizing a roadshow that is a dedicated workshop for financial capacity building, and we will have one in July upcoming, and also branding and events such as this one, but not only, a lot of them across the years. The key is that we are really here to support the community, to disseminate all of the solutions further, and to ensure that the community exchanges knowledge and nurtures really a welcoming and collaborative environment. As I have mentioned, the community has started almost 12 years ago. So the first projects have been starting already in 2014. So the depth and width of the knowledge and all of the experience over the years is here. And I would also, those who are not yet an active part of the community, would like to invite you to really join in and participate, because there is a lot to learn, but also a lot to share from other peers, from other projects, representatives, and collaborators. And it's a very open and welcoming community that we have here. Over the years, of course, the projects have developed from more focusing on individual solutions, smart city-wide solutions, to now focusing a lot more on the on a setup of PEDs. And that is why we are talking today to only selected number of the projects that we kind of called the PED cluster. It's a PED, Positive Energy District cluster, part of the community. And again, these are not even all of the PED projects that are in the community, but a selected few. The reason why we are focusing on the PEDs right now is that because of the agenda towards climate neutral EU by 2050, where cities need to lead a clean and fair energy transition towards climate neutrality and sustainability. And they do it in 3 different dimensions: environment, economy, and social dimension. The PEDs have different aspects of the smart cities, have also different ways on how they want to approach that, everything from digital technology to citizen engagement to urban planning and governance and business models, which is exactly the elements that you will be hearing about today. The common part is that they are actually using digital solutions and enablers to enhance, scale up, and implement changes and innovations in energy systems, in mobility, in circular economy, in built environment, and to establish, for example, renewable energies in their PEDs. In specifically, we will be hearing a lot today about smart solutions and great energy management systems, about interoperable solutions enabled by digital technology, about renewable energy production and storage, e-mobility charging infrastructure, and high performance buildings. The target is to have 100 PEDs by 2025. So let's hope that target is reached by the end of the year. As I said, we have a selection of a couple of the PED projects in this cluster. There are some similarities on how they approach the design and implementation of the PEDs, and they are working in various areas also a part of that. So we have Ascent and NEUTRALPATH, that you will be hearing also from today, that have digital twins or are developing digital twins and are designing business models that would actually help more scale up and replication of the solutions in the PEDs, either in that particular city or in another city, how they can be implemented and scaled up. And they are focusing on demonstration and then scale up. We have also 3 other sister projects, InterPED, HARMONISE, and PEDvolution, that are working more on interoperable platforms and focusing also on data-driven decision-making, and of course also on digital twins, which is something that they will be also telling you a lot more in depth about in a bit. With that, I would like to then introduce the first speakers that are going to be presenting each one of the projects, and let them explain and talk more about what their project is about and what is it that they are focusing on. I have here from the project Ascent, Baptiste Meugeot. I have from the project PEDvolution, Marina Lascari. From the project NEUTRALPATH, Stefania Mascolo. From InterPED, Lorena Sanchez, and from HARMONISE, Dr. Christos Korkas. Without further ado, the first project would be Ascent, so I would like to give the word to Baptiste, and who will introduce us to the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Veronica. Good morning, everyone. So yeah, I will introduce the Ascent project. So Ascent is a positive and clean energy district project. It's not just a positive energy district. Eugenia, I can't change the slide. It's not working. So anyway, so the objective of the Ascent project, it's working. Okay. there is a big delay, okay, in the slide. So the objective of the ASCEND project is to create positive clean energy districts across Europe. So it's, of course, we are doing this to mitigate the effects of climate change and reduce the impact carbon footprint of the cities. So we are referring to energy, of course, in the title of the project, but it includes also health issues, sustainability, inclusiveness, and managing more, let's say, more smartly the infrastructure of the districts, being the grids or the buildings. So our main goals in the project is to deliver 2 PCEDs in both lighthouse cities of Lyon and Munich within the project duration, and to start the implementation of 6 other positive clean energy districts in what we call the multiplayer cities, which are Porto, Charleroi in Belgium, Prague, Stockholm, Budapest, and Alba Iulia in Romania. So if we just want to have an overview of the project in consortium, so it's a 5-year-long project. It's coordinated by SPL Lyon Confluence, so it's the company I'm working for. We are an in-house company of the city and metropolis of Lyon, so our main job is to develop the Lyon Confluence district area, to make it a positive clean energy district. So within the ASCEND project, we have 8 demonstration areas, so I already listed them, and we have a total of 39 partners all over Europe in the consortium. So about the 2 demonstrators, so the 2 lighthouse cities. So the first one is Lyon. So we are focusing there on a new district which is being redeveloped. La Confluence is a district in the city center. It was at the end of the 1990s an industrial wasteland, and now it has been redeveloped for more than 20 years. And so we are mainly focusing on new buildings of 170 square meters of new buildings, and some buildings we are going to refurbish to keep some heritage of what was the district in the 20th century. So the planned investment for constructing the buildings is a bit less than 400 million euros. It's mainly supported by the private investors, private investments, and being the property developers. And we also found, say, a win-win situation with a property developer to deploy massively, let's say, renewable energy production, so mainly photovoltaic production systems in the district. So the second one is Munich. So Munich has a totally different approach, really focused on refurbishment. So the name of the district is Harthof. It's more in the suburbs, so it's different approaches, different types of district. So the aim is to make it a CO2 neutral and positive energy district by refurbishing massively all the houses in the area. The approach of the city of Munich is really to make the whole city climate neutral. The idea is to work PCD by PCD, district per district, by scaling and replicating what has been done within ASCEND. So the consortium, we have the coordination team of 4 partners. We are coordinating, Lyon Confluence is coordinating it. We are also the coordinator of the local consortium in Lyon. Where in Lyon, we also have in the local consortium, of course, both local authorities, being the city of the metropolis, and technical partner, Spirit Urban Practices and ERTEC, which are supporting us on the energy aspect, the digital aspects, and the monitoring. We have the same kind of consortium in Munich. They also have, it's important also to have it on mind, in the consortium, a social landlord, because it's also a challenge to refurbish all the social housing in the district. We have to find also business model and funding. They have to find this for being able of refurbishing both the private housing and the social one. And then we have the 6 multiplayer cities. I just want to take some time to go by one. So Alba Iulia, we have only the city authority in the consortium. It's the same for Stockholm. In Budapest, we have the city and BKK is transport company there. In Prague, it's led by the university, CDUIT, and PDS is an agency of Prague. EOICT is a technical company supporting the city of Prague in the deployment of digital tools. So what's important to have in mind there is that we have a local consortium in Prague with no local authorities, but with closely linked agency or entities to the city. It's the same thing in Porto, so it's led by the Energy Agency of Porto, and we have also partners working on the digital aspects and energy aspects. And Serra Alves, for those who know a little bit the city of Porto, it's the name of the foundation, the museum, a very beautiful museum in the center of Porto. And in Charleroi, Belgium, we have 2 partners, and it's led by the city, but it gave an important role to also in-house compatibility of the city and the region of Charleroi. And then we have the cost-cutting experts. Energy Cities is leading helping all the multiplayer cities, and we have experts working on the business models, such as University of St. Gallen, R2M Solutions, on digital aspects, DKSA, University of Luxembourg, on monitoring, so AIT, and on cross-collaboration and communication, so CARTIF and 21 Communication, so it's the company Veronica is working for, or CEO of the company. So we are gathering in the consortium plenty of different stakeholders, so they are listed here in the slide. What's important to have in mind, and that's why also I wanted to insist on the local consortia, is that we have a local governance in each consortium, each local consortium, which enable to make easily the links between all these kind of stakeholders, the policymakers, the citizens, and the private sector and businesses. So as then we are working in collaboration with the other PED projects we have. Veronica referred to at the beginning of the meeting, the session, and we are also working with all the Scalable Cities network, let's say, all these smart cities and community projects you have on the left of the slide. Of course, we are working with the main, let's say, initiatives in Europe acting for climate neutrality that you have on the right side of the slide. So what's our approach? What is our approach for positive clean energy districts? So as I said, we are not only addressing the energy issues, we're also working on health and by including air quality monitoring, by including works on public spaces. We are deploying digital solutions to manage more smartly the infrastructure. We are working on sustainability. We have a big also big actions on citizen engagement and inclusiveness, and we have, as you've seen, also several partners working on business models to be as resource efficient as possible. So we base also the definition of what a PCD is based on what GPI provides as a definition. So we define it as an energy efficient and flexible urban area of connected buildings which produce net zero greenhouse gas emissions. So we're not referring only to energy, but all the different aspects of a district. So it stands on 5 main pillars. So the citizenship, active citizenship, so citizen engagement, frugal building, so high energy efficient building and renewable energy production, smart energy grids, so for both heating grids, electricity grids, and also we are in some district monitoring the water consumption. Obviously, we're addressing all the challenges related to public transportation and uneven transportation. We include in this the freight, so logistics flows, and last but not least, we are using digital tools to help us to support us in implementing these solutions and managing them. all these pillars are connecting at the center by the urban ecostructure. So basically, it's a governance. As I said before, it can be the local authority, it can be an agency, it can be an in-house company. So we are also assessing this and addressing this topic to find a way of deploying, how to deploy as fast as possible a PCD and how to replicate them, what should be the governance space. So how do we deal with this? We have this approach in Ascend on the deployment of 6 solution packages. So what we call solution packages, there are packages of solution gathered by thematic. So the first one is on digital infrastructures. The second one is on energy communities. The third on energy efficient buildings. The fourth on decarbonized mobility. The fifth on citizen-centered solution, and the sixth on urban orchestrators. So it's really linked to the pillars of the positive clean energy district. So each of them is let's assessed technically, financially, to make sure they are replicable and they can be upscaled in the city. Of course, well, they are different depending on the local context and local challenges. But all these packages are assessed by the experts of the consortium to make sure, well, they are sustainable and they have sense, or if they need to be improved or modified to be then able to be replicated in other parts of the city and in other cities. At the end of the project, we have to deliver 2 positive clean energy districts, so Lyon and Munich, and to launch and the planification and the deployment or the deployment of 25 clean energy districts in both the lighthouse and the multiplier cities. So we also want to have the 6 solution packages validated by the market and linked to the market. Each city will work on a city investment plan to find a way of financing the climate neutrality in its city. We have also solutions linked to digital aspects, so KPI engine to facilitate and to make easier the monitoring of each district, repository of solutions, so GitHub, and a multi-criteria decision analysis tool, which helps the cities in designing their positive clean energy district. Other midterm impacts, so we want to create, thanks to the Ascend project, new waves of PCDs, in our cities, in the city of the consortium, and in the national city alliances that each city has to create or work with within the Ascend project. The objective is to reach 100 additional PCDs by 2030 by cooperating with all the initiatives shown in the previous slide, so cities mission, net zero cities, covenant of mayors, Scalable Cities, the South Marketplace. Of course, by deploying solutions, the idea also is to create new jobs and to find investments to finance the climate neutrality. And last, the timeline of our project. So we launched the PED construction in the Lighthouse Cities in 2024 and 2025. The launch of construction in the multiplier cities, in most of them, we start in 2026 or next year. And we have started or are going to start, depending on the cities, to identify where these solutions will be replicated within the city area, so that at the end of the project, we can start the planification and construction of 25 new PCDs. And the objectives, the super objective we have is to start the deployment of 270 PCDs in 2035 in our cities, plus in all the city alliances of each of the 8 Ascend cities. I think that's all from my side, and I hope I was not too long because we have several presentations then. And Eugenia or Veronica, I give you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Baptiste. And I would like to invite Marina Lascari from PEDvolution to talk about her project.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Marina Lascari. I work for INLECOM, and we are coordinating the PEDvolution project. PEDvolution it was submitted under the same call topic as two other projects in this workshop, InterPED and HARMONISE. The call topic is indicative of what these projects are about. It's called Interoperable Solutions for Positive Energy Districts, including a better integration of local renewables and local excess heat sources. So in a nutshell, our projects are asked to tackle this issue. PEDvolution is a 3-year project, and we're halfway in the implementation of the project, and it's planned to finish in December next year. We are 15 organizations from 7 European countries. So I mentioned INLECOM being the project coordinator. Symbraxis is leading communication, dissemination, and exploitation activities. We have 7 solution providers, which I will name in more detail in a bit, and also 6 PED stakeholders. We have 3 main PEDs on the project. The PEDs are located in Germany, Slovenia, and Switzerland. The objectives of PEDvolution are, first of all, as in the core topic, to improve energy efficiency, coupling it with a better integration of local renewables and local excess heat, increase the participation of citizens and the integration of consumers and energy communities in the value chain of the energy system, improve cross-sectorial integration on energy and non-energy sectors, and also, of course, demonstrate fully interoperable solutions for any of the phases of a PED, so planning, design, and development and management. I will try to, the concept of PEDvolution is a bit complex. I will do my best to explain it. So in this project, we consider that because of the continual environment changes, urban energy transitions need to be, and they actually are, in constant evolution. Such environment changes include the evolving social context, adapted legislation, energy prices, increased electric vehicles, and therefore storage capacity, and so forth. Therefore, in this, we saw a strong analogy with the theory of evolution that says that if an environment changes, the traits that enhance survival in that environment will also gradually change or evolve. In PEDvolution, we are developing 7 interoperable solutions, accommodating this constant evolution of PEDs. And these solutions that we propose can design, process, optimize, and strengthen the PED's genotype and or phenotype. By PED genotype, you can see the definition in the right-hand side and also in the figure. PED genotype is the PED's set of genetic material that's built through a unique combination of social technology, interoperability, and market-related aspects. And the PED phenotype is the set of observable characteristics of the PED, resulting from the interaction of its genotype with the environment. And by environment, we mean could be the energy market, the industry, mobility, geopolitics, ICT, or have you. These solutions will be tested, demonstrated, and validated in the 3, we call them co-developer PEDs that we already have, and at least 3 additional PEDs that we will onboard through an open call for PEDs. So as I said, we have 7 solutions being developed in the project. In a very worthy slide, you see 4 of them. The first one is the PED design and planning toolset. This is led by Vito. This is a digital planning tool that helps developers and city planners to simulate and optimize energy systems at both building and district levels. Then we have the Dynamic Decision Support Guideline led by NTNU. This is a structured workflow and targeted guideline system that helps decision makers in selecting the best technologies, the urban planning strategies, and renewable energy integration approaches. The third tool is the PED Energy Manager, led by Offset. This is a multi-level toolset for optimizing energy flows, utilizing flexibility within a PED, and integrating with energy markets. Data exchange, integration, and interoperability platform. This is the backbone of PEDvolution, and it is led by ICOM. It's a secure data exchange platform that ensures seamless communication between PED assets, PEDvolution solutions, and systems external to the PED. The fifth tool is the PED Readiness Assessment Framework, led by the Zurich University of Think Science and Technology. Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. This is a systematic evaluation methodology to assess how well a district or neighborhood meets the PED criteria. And then the final two tools that are led by Smart Innovation Norway. First one is a business modeling tool tailored to PEDs, helping stakeholders develop viable and scalable business models. And the social innovation tool, that's a methodology for stakeholder engagement and community participation, ensuring that PED solutions align with local priorities and societal needs. As I mentioned before, we have the three PED co-developers. These have been are in the project consortium and are with us from the beginning, helping in the development as an iterative process of developing, testing, and improving the solutions, and also having their needs, let's say, addressed, have the problems solved through the solutions developed within PEDvolution. The first PED co-developer is Schönbrunn village in Germany. The vision here is, first of all, to equip existing and new renewable installations with automated AI-based controls from the PED Energy Manager toolset, therefore delivering automated control and optimization while integrated with the local grid through the interoperability platform. Also achieve efficient operation of assets to allow additional customers to utilize district heating network and replace energy sources with renewables. Every building that's part of this PED shall become, that's part of the village, shall become part of the PED, supporting the energy generation and storage facility. Surplus energy in the local environment will be identified and channeled to heating and electricity storage facilities, further improving the overall performance and reducing the need for investments. And finally, starting from this Schönbrunn PED, all renewables from partner SWW. SWW is a DSO and district heating operator, together with cross-vector assets, will be integrated in the next level approach, the SWW PED. The end goal is, after building this SWW PED, is to establish the ultimate PED on a regional level, namely the Zenob PED. Zenob is a joint venture, again, a project partner, promoting and financing innovative energy solutions. The second PED is located in Slovenia, is a residential neighborhood, Planina. The vision here is to equip existing industrial components for low temperature dirty condensate and site with calorimeters to determine precise temperatures whereas the PEDvolution toolset will calculate the accurate waste heat energy output. Also virtually connect nearby power plants to the PED. And the new energy community will provide renewable energy with long-term fixed electricity prices to reduce risks related to energy markets. Also, the vision is to transfer excess heat that's not used in the industrial process to a second nearby PED for the possibility of completely excluding the need for natural gas. Integrate an electric boiler into the plan in a boiler house, ensuring smooth operation of system services, namely negative secondary control. And finally, integrate new software solutions from the PEDvolution toolset to allow automatic dynamic demand response of the individual buildings and the industrial equipment in order to most cost efficiently adapt to the upcoming new tariff system. So the end goal here is to create a new energy community together with citizens and industrial partners who provide excess heat for optimal revenue distribution and sharing of benefits. Finally, the hard community in Switzerland. The vision here is to expand the photovoltaic system on additional roofs, expand the e-mobility, shared mobility options, create self-sufficient communities of single buildings, transition from gas central heating to a central heat pump heating, and finally include services from DSO and from local community. So the end goal here is a complete integration of renewable energy sources, namely hydropower and PV systems, with the energy usage in the hard community. Where we are, as I said, we are halfway in the project and in year 2 of the project. Now all efforts are put in the final development and so in the integration, implementation, and testing of solutions by those 3 PED co-developers that I just described, and then move into the 3rd year of the project with full demonstration, validation, and solution refinement. In the 3rd year, we will enter, as I said, with 3 to 5 additional PEDs. And something that maybe I will close with this information that's probably interesting for many of you here. We have an open call for demonstrators that opened on 1st of May and will close on the 30th of June. So if you have an active PED initiative or an energy district that's either existing, it's under development, or in planning phase, you may be eligible for this funding. It's the selected applicants will receive between 30 and 50,000 euros to participate in this activity. You will be required to, it's mandatory to test 4 out of 7 4 out of the 7 solutions that I described earlier, and then at least 1 from the 3 that you see here. So either the design and planning toolset, the PED Energy Manager, and the data exchange, integration, and interoperability platform. Of course, as with any project, what you will need to do once, if you're successful, is to provide essential technical data and contextual information to facilitate tool deployment and actively engage with the local stakeholders in the PED. I saw my colleague Marcos adding something in the chat. Is probably this link that you see here. You can find the announcement of the open call and all the documentation and details of what to submit and how to apply on the funding and tenders portal. Thank you very much for listening. That's all from me.
Thank you very much, Marina, and for the presentation of the project PEDvolution. That was very interesting. I would now like to invite Stefania Mascolo from NeutralPath to introduce us to their project.
Yeah, thank you, Veronica. I'm Stefania Mascolo. I'm project coordinator at EuroCities, and within NeutralPath project, we lead on the collaboration and policy work at European level, as well as the capacity building for our cities. And today I would like to give you a very brief update on our project as well. So we are, as was already said, we are also a sister project of ASCEN. So we started as well in 2023. We were funded under the Horizon Europe call for climate neutral and smart cities mission. And of course, as well as the other projects we're mentioning, our goal really of our project is to implement positive and clean energy district in a way that is integrated across especially three sectors. So of course, energy, built environment, and also mobility solutions. So specifically for our project, the idea is to really penetrate different kind of approaches from governance to social innovation, and of course, the usual core technical solutions of positive energy district to really support our cities in not only, of course, deploying these positive energy district, but also overall to support the cities in their climate neutral goals. And most of our cities, and I will now share more, are also mission cities. So very much linked also to their climate city contract and overall, as I was saying, the climate goals of the cities. So these are our participant cities. As the other PED project, we have two lighthouse cities. So we have the city of Zaragoza in Spain and the city of Dresden in Germany. These two cities as lighthouse cities are basically focusing on really planning in the design, planning and implementation of positive energy district, specifically into different demo sites. And then we have three other cities, Ghent, Vanta, and Istanbul, that are fellow cities. So over the timeline of the project, these other cities are following the implementation in Dresden and Zaragoza, really trying to learn and also adapt, of course, to their contextual needs and challenges as well, the positive energy district. And hopefully they will be able to start the implementation right after the project ends in 2027. So we are basically in year 3 of our implementation timeline. Well, I won't enter really into the details of the PCD concept because it's going to be the same for all of us today. But it's really, as I was saying, for our project in particular, we are really trying to make sure that the positive energy district is not only focused on the core technical solutions that, of course, has to be there and is the core of the concept, but really trying to integrate it with the financial model, business models that will make this positive energy district also sustainable on a financial level, on a long term and mid-long term, hopefully. And of course, also to integrate the different sectors, so also electric mobility and of course, digital twins and ICT systems. In terms of, and let's hope, key success factor or really approaches that we are deploying in the project, we focus a lot on the governance. So in terms of internal governance for our cities, we know the barriers. We will talk also more about it later. So really to focus on innovative models in terms of governance in the internal coordination, for example, of our city's administration, as well, of course, as the link to the policy at European level for positive energy district, but overall also to enhance the energy transition. And of course, that we are, as I was also mentioning, the social aspect of it is also extremely important in terms of really being able to engage and design solutions for the districts that are co-owned really by the local stakeholders, especially the citizens, the tenants, the building owners. So in terms of really creating a sense of co-ownership of this solution that can be supported on a long term. We're also, of course, as a Positive Energy District, we are looking to deploy technological solutions that can be, of course, innovative, but also market feasible. And of course, this is very much related to the conversation that we are having later as well on the business models for Positive Energy District. And of course, as we have different cities from different regions, we are also looking at the contextual needs and challenges of the districts and of our cities. In terms of, just to give a little bit of 2 words really on the social approach from NeutralPath, specifically as a tool that we have designed in the project, we have living labs that we call climate neutral labs that have been established in each city. So each in our city, even the fellow one, have created these living labs in which really the city administration is leading a conversation with the citizens, the local stakeholders, private research sectors, really to make sure that these solutions, as I was saying, are really designed in a participative way and can overall contribute to the climate goals of the city. Some of the activities of these climate neutral labs that are also held, of course, both in English under the timeline of the project, but as well as in the local language. So we really try to make sure that the local stakeholders are engaged, are following with the Positive Energy District that are being planning or implemented. So we have, of course, the capacity building program, and I will tell you a little bit more later. We have the co-design of business models as well. We have different kind of activities as green walks and workshops with the citizen to understand also the needs, the barriers, the awareness level as well of the citizen in terms of what the Positive and Clean Energy District really bring as a co-benefit in terms of course health, etc. For the population. And in general, of course, as all the other projects, we also have different kind of local level events as well to disseminate the knowledge that has been created and hopefully also been able to be transferred to scale up the Positive Energy District within the city and then, of course, at regional, national, and European level. Just a couple of words on the capacity building program that we have designed as well for our cities. As you can see here, the idea is really to put the cities of the project at the center of our program. The capacity building for NeutralPath cities has started in 2024 and is going to run until the end of the project. We have developed it really with a 1-year needs assessment with our cities to really understand the challenges, of course, in terms of planning and implementing Positive Energy District, but really overall how we can support our city in this sustainable transition overall. So we have decided to touch upon 4 different areas or aspects, cross-cutting areas, let's say. So, of course, governance, financing, social innovation, and, of course, the technical solutions as well. In this sense, we are also following a little bit what Net Zero Cities and the city's mission is sharing, as these areas are really the core, the pillars to support cities in this, of course, ambitious but also very difficult transition. So we are going to focus, and we are focusing with our cities in supporting them, strengthening their skills, but also knowledge that they can share with each other, as well as learn from European experts. And in this sense, the idea is really in a short, mid, and long term to support the cities in gaining knowledge and skills that are really applicable in their own local context and can support them in the implementation of the Positive Energy District. And for the cities, in our case, the city of Vanta and Ghent, that are non-mission cities, also for them really to support them in set clear climate goals, and also hopefully being able to submit the climate civility contract within 2027. This is, overall, the objectives, as I was saying, that we want to achieve with this program, but also a much more, let's say, hopefully, bigger impact on our cities, what they can learn, what they can also transfer to our city, to other cities. And also maybe this is more a call for any participant today in the workshop that might be interesting and it comes from a city that maybe is not so familiar with positive energy district and energy transition, or is struggling. So we also have, under NeutralPath, we have launched this initiative called City Alliance. With this City Alliance, what we want to do is to invite other cities, even medium and small cities that we know that most of the times maybe are not so engaged, at European level. So, and really bring them on board into our different kind of activities. So with the capacity building program, the City Alliance, but also with the community of practice and many other different events that we organize. So really the City Alliance, if you are in this call and you are from a medium or small city in Europe or beyond, of course, access the QR and you can really register for this City Alliance. We will be in touch. And what we want to do is really to foster knowledge transfer, because we know that we have much to share, and we can see it here today from Positive Energy District project and cities, but really we do need to support this knowledge transfer in a way that is more open and inclusive as possible if we want to succeed. And as last also approach that we have developed in NeutralPath, this is more the community of practice is a tool that we use mostly for technical providers. So if you are from a research center, more private sector, and you would like to be in contact with other professionals that work as well in the sector across, as I said, built environment, energy, mobility, and beyond, really across the climate and sustainability fields, feel free to sign up to the community of practice. We have a group in the Net Zero City platform. So there are more than 4,000 users. And what we do is really trying to design events that engage with our community, and we can support especially the innovation and research action in this sense. And this was all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefania. And we will also share all of the QR codes and invitations to join after the meeting. So those of you who did not manage to take notes, don't worry. We will share all the links and all the invitations also in the follow-up of the workshop. Herewith, I would like to give not only the word to the next presenter from InterPED, Lorena Sanchez, but I would like to also give the moderator hand to my colleague Eugenia, and I will be saying goodbye to you, but I will be following up afterwards. So Lorena, please introduce us to your project.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Veronica. Good morning all. My name is Lorena Sanchez. I'm working in R2M Solution Spain. And well, as Veronica already said, I'm in the coordination team of InterPED project. So I would like to introduce you first the consortium. We are 14 partners from 7 different countries, as shown in the map. I belong to this one, R2M Solution Spain. As I said, we are the coordinators of the project. As well, as Marina already mentioned, we are from the same call as PEDvolution and HARMONISE project. So we started in January 24. And well, the project has a total duration of 3 years. We are just coming to the end of the first half of the project, well, just in half, in month 18, we are co-funded by Horizon Europe, and the idea is that we finish the project with an expected TRL between 6 and 8. And well, I forgot to mention that the InterPED stands for Interoperable Cloud-Based Solution for Cross-Vector Planning and Management of Positive Energy Districts. I'm not going to explain what a positive energy district is, because this was already mentioned before. So I will focus next in the main objectives of InterPED. So the first one would be to deploy a cloud-based solution that would allow enhancing sector coupling and demand flexibility. The idea is that later we can demonstrate this solution in 4 different pilots across Europe. And finally, to replicate this solution in different follower districts once the project ends. In the long term, the idea is that InterPED provides the following benefits that could be summarized in 4 mainly. So this would consist of reducing greenhouse gas emissions and dependency on fossil fuels. Afterwards, increasing dependence for cities and the energy security of supply, lower energy cost for both residents and businesses, and finally, empower communities and citizens overall. But if I try to tell you how actually InterPED works, because it's like a complex concept to explain. I would say it's built upon 3 different key ideas. So the first one is making the most of local renewables, such as wind, solar, and of course, a very important part is to take advantage of the waste heat that is normally lost. The second key idea would be to involve the community. So we always try to have citizens participating actively in energy management. And last but not least is to improve connection, integrating different energy uses such as electricity, heat, and transport, and ensuring flexibility in these uses in order to manage energy demand in a smarter way. So, as I said before, the main core of InterPED is to create this cloud-based digital platform. This platform would integrate in turn 7 different tools. So, here it is. Among these different tools, we need to make a distinction in 2 groups. The first group of tools, it's tools for future planning. This would belong to the design phase of the positive energy districts, and what they allow is to carry out simulations in order to perform scenarios, different scenarios, and based on the results of these scenarios, trying to improve decisions making and make better decisions in the long term. To this group, we have, for example, the cross-vector planning toolbox and also the life cycle assessment, who tries to analyze the impact during the whole life cycle of a technology of a product. In our case, we measure the environmental impact and also the life cycle costing. And then in the other group, we will have tools for energy management. This would be for the operation phase of the positive energy district. To this group would belong the rest of the tools that are shown here. And the main aim of these tools is to achieve a better prediction, optimization, and control of the PED operation. So within all these tools, if we need to highlight the innovation, the main innovation of InterPED and the project as a whole, we will need to highlight that the user and the citizens are always in the center, so they always have the control of the positive energy district. The second main innovation we need to underline here is that we aim to create a local energy marketplace. This could include peer-to-peer trading, and the idea is that the members of the community can exchange energy among themselves. And finally, the third main innovation, it would be, as I mentioned before, the real-world testing. So this is the demonstration in the different pilots we have in the project. No, sorry. My internet is going a bit slow this morning. So, okay, here they are. So, as I said, we have 4 different pilots across Europe. The first one is settled in the north of Spain. It's the Lugaritz Matia community in the city of San Sebastian. The second one is Finhorn village, settled in the north of Scotland in UK. The third one is Arena Innovation Community. It's located in Switzerland, close to the Italian border. And finally, we will have Alba Iulia municipality, which is located in Romania. This pilot was already introduced by the ASCEND project because they are also participating there. And well, all these pilots are mixed between residential and commercial and tertiary buildings, except for the pilot in Alba Iulia, which is only tertiary buildings. So looking at the progress we have made so far in InterPED, we are now starting the deployments in all these pilots. There was a deployment plan that was already finished, and the idea is to start with all the installations now. So if we look to the total project progress, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, we are about to finish the first half. We can say that we have already accomplished 3 out of the 7 milestones. So we already finished last year pilot characterization and the specification of demo scenarios. We also finished the project requirements for the platform and the definition of the KPIs. And we have the planning tool that I mentioned before, cross-vector, and also the life cycle assessment tool that they are about to be completed by the end of this month. And we also finished the participant recruitment because, as we said, part of the core of InterPED is to place the user and the city and the citizen in the center of the positive energy district. So the next step now would be to finish predictive data analytics and the baseline period for data acquisition. So as I said, we are creating this platform, and we need now to adapt the different tools that will be integrated for the different pilots. And well, this phase is planned to start in the coming months. And then we will also have a phase of, well, after completing the installation, all the validation of the project and all from all the installations. So this is everything from my side. Thank you very much. Happy to answer if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Lorena, for your presentation. I'm happy now to hand it over to the next project, HARMONISE, with Dr. Christos Korkas from the Center for Research and Technology, HELLAS, and also HARMONISE project coordinator.
Hello, good morning to everyone. I hope that you can hear me. So my name is Christos Korkas, and I'm representing CERT from Greece, which also leads the HARMONISE project. So our project, as previous people mentioned, is a sister project with InterPED and PEDvolution. Our acronym stands for the project name, which is Hierarchical and Agile Resource Management Optimization for Networks. in smart energy communities. And in contrast with the rest of the project, we are the newest member on the cluster since we initiated our actions just 1 year ago, 1st of June of 2024. So we closed up our first year of operations. Our project and our project consortium is comprised of 15 different partners coming from 8 different countries. We are operating 4 physical pilots that we are going to mention later on. We have 8 replication activities and 8 replicators, and we involved in these pilots more than 2,500 people. So the HARMONISE project comprises of 8 main objectives, spanning from integration of renewables to predictive analytics and energy management systems that utilize AI in order to facilitate the decision making. But our main focus is on the integration of different data and different tools into a unified platform in order to provide adaptive business models, flexibility strategies, to trust and verify the participation of different citizens and different stakeholders into the energy mix of the communities. And of course, promote the climate adaptation of these communities, and of course, the citizen entrepreneurship. So, in order to promote the business aspects of all these tools. The project, as I said, is comprised of 4 main physical pilots and 1 virtual pilot that connects all these pilots in a unified case. But also we have 9 different outcomes, 9 different results, beginning from the FCIID devices, as we call them, which are basically asset and district-oriented fog-enabled devices. So smart nodes and smart PCs that are connected to the field in order to aggregate field data and also connect all field assets into the mix. Then we move to the end-to-end aggregation and interoperable platform. So basically, our platform aggregates data coming from multiple vendors, multiple sectors into a unified system. In order to go on to the rest of the project results, such as the intelligent automatic load control, both for asset and network level, the AI-based forecasting toolbox that is utilized alongside this automatic control tool. And both are utilized in order to optimize the operation of all district assets, but also to optimize the operation of the whole asset as a node of the grid of the future. Of course, alongside with this real-time optimization and prediction tools, we have a design and expansion toolbox that facilitates the decision-making of the district managers, of the district users in terms of expansion, of new assets that could be installed into the mix, of new business models that could be developed in order to help the decision-making on an offline manner. All these tools are encapsulated under a user-centered gamification app. So a front-end app with gamification aspects that help us, promote the outcomes of the project towards the end users, towards the citizens of the energy communities that are present to our project. And also connect all these technical tools to the other 3 results, which are basically the smart contracts and the peer-to-peer trading that we have between the end users of the PEDs, the dynamic business models that we are developing under our project, and of course, the different strategies that we have for user awareness, the long-term engagement, and of course the long-term decisions and expansion that we want to have in our communities. So the concept pretty much, as I described it, is comprised of 5 different levels. The first level, of course, is the asset level. So basically, whatever is encapsulated into these communities, such as smart buildings, renewable energy systems, storage systems like batteries, and EV procedures. So everything that is around into a community. Then we have the prediction and control layer. So basically all the technical tools that are utilized for real-time control, real-time predictions, and facilitation of the decision-making in real time regarding the energy decisions of the users. Then, of course, we have the aggregation layer where we have the aggregation platform alongside the security and privacy mechanism and the blockchain-based smart contract decisions that we have in order to feed all this information and all these decisions to the last 2 layers, which basically are the business layer and the user layer that are utilized by the end users, the PED managers, the PED decision makers in order to basically expand the communities, but also make more money in a more climate neutral and climate preserving way. So a few words about our pilots. As I said, we have 4 main physical pilots. The first one is located in Estonia, in Tallinn. It is mainly tertiary pilot, so basically comprised of very big office buildings alongside a quite large EV station building located alongside with them. And also the system here is connected both in the electricity network, but also on the district heating network. So giving us the option of utilizing and combining 2 different energy networks into the mix. The second pilot is located in Spain, in Pozo Lorente region. It is a smaller village with around 400 buildings, mainly single-family houses and small businesses. It is connected to 2 large PV plants, so virtually the whole village is a positive energy district. And here, of course, we are mainly focused on situations where we need to have peak saving, load saving, especially during summer due to the Spanish conditions. The third pilot is located in Italy, in Valle Vignale. This is a very small renewable energy community with only 10 to 20 buildings. It is a fully equipped community with photovoltaic panels present, with storage capacities and some small charging stations. It is a quite positive energy area. So here we need to promote efficient management of the assets of the community in order to minimize the interactions with the grid and promote the optimal utilization of the energy that is produced. And finally, our final physical pilot is located in Switzerland, the Arena Innovation Community, where we have also an electricity mix, but also some hydropower plants and the district heating network into the mix. So we need to coordinate a lot of different energy sectors and ventures into the mix in order to promote the optimal operation of the community. So these are the 4 main physical cases. Of course, we have a virtual case where we connect all these 4 cases through our FCIID devices into a virtual unified pilot, a cross-regional pan-European pilot where virtually we have to coordinate the actions between the 4 different pilot cases in order to promote the optimal operation of the whole network and minimize the costs on a very much larger scale. So that's all from my side. If you have any question regarding our project, I would be happy to answer it.
Thank you, Christos. I really invite the audience to raise their hand in case they have any questions, or just pop them in the chat. We're happy to address each and every one of them, either in the session right now or afterwards, as my colleague Veronica mentioned earlier. So thank you very much to all of the presenters. This is great, and really let me tell you how great this workshop has been so far. I'm very excited to introduce you to the next part of this workshop, the thematic discussion panel, where we're going to feature the same 5 projects. And I guess that you'll be able to call yourselves PED experts by the end of this workshop too. So we're going to start with HARMONISE project, always with Dr. Christos Korkas. And I'd really like to ask you, Christos, what does a fully operational positive energy district look like in practice? And if you could describe and summarize key components and actors that are typically involved in PED, please.
Thank you, Eugenia. So let's move on into the more interesting part of the of our presentation. So what are actual PEDs in practice? So in general, PEDs are urban areas with or neighborhoods, so districts with geographical limits that basically generate more clean energy, more renewable energy than they consume, but on an annual level. So our goal is to have communities, neighborhoods, areas that produce more energy than the consumption that they offer. And to do so, they have to combine multiple different assets, such as smart energy efficient buildings, on-site renewables, storage units like batteries, and also storage units like electric vehicles. However, this is not a straightforward process because we need to combine a lot of data coming from different platforms to optimize and forecast the energy patterns inside these communities and utilize very advanced and crucially now in the last 2 years, AI-based tools to do so. And finally, possibly the most crucial aspect is that we have to rely on the active participation of all the citizens located inside these communities, the businesses, the local grids, and the energy providers that are connected to this community, and make them to communicate with each other, but also to start the transactions between each other, energy transactions, money transactions. So we have to offer all the technical tools to do so.
Great. Okay, so if we had to understand really how PEDs differ from other sustainable urban development models, like, for example, smart cities or low carbon zones, where would those similarities and differences rely and be?
Mm-hmm. So, if I may, the similarities begin from the aspect that in all these cases, I mean, in cases that we are talking about smart cities, PEDs, or low carbon zones, the goal is, first of all, to have a digital transformation of these areas. So, to utilize data aggregation techniques and smart tools in order to connect all these assets into unified platforms. And, of course, offer clean air, connected communities, energy freedom, and energy services to the end users. However, The main difference is that PEDs mainly focus and have as a highlighted goal the energy aspect. So they need to create a net positive energy balance between the consumption and the generation profile that they have as a community. And they have to be energy specific, quite modular, and the most crucial, at least from my side, the most crucial difference is the fact that they have to produce and include real-time optimization techniques. So we are talking about real-time decisions in order to promote the efficiency aspects. Finally, one additional benefit of PEDs is that they transform the citizens from just mere consumers to prosumers. So basically a mix between producers and consumers in order to help also and offer additional services towards the energy grid as well.
It's great. So how do then PEDs address the dynamic between energy production, consumption, and storage on really a district level?
Mm-hmm. So basically, and again, now I'm moving forward to the challenges that we have to face as PED coordinators or PED projects in that aspect, is that PEDs in general have to operate like a mini smart grid. So PEDs actually are microgrids, essentially, that need to, introduce a lot of different technical tools, and especially a lot of tools regarding the data sharing, the data interoperability. That is also the main focus of our project and, of course, of our sister projects, that will give us the chance to coordinate the actions between all the different assets that we just mentioned. So assets that are including production units, assets that are including storage units, but also assets that include consumption units like the buildings, the charging stations. So we need to, overcome these communication blocks, to overcome these data sharing obstacles, and promote the active participation of all these assets into the energy mix. And if I may, some of the most common practices that we have in the PED projects is the use of these local installed renewables, rely on district-wide control platforms to optimize the energy mix and coordinate the production and consumption profile between these nodes, to integrate these storage units and the EV charging infrastructure into these platforms, and apply smart algorithms, smart tools in order to promote demand response strategies and this predictive AI. Finally, and probably this is the next step forward for PEDs, is that PEDs are not operating alone. So we are talking about PEDs that eventually will cooperate between each other. We are talking about PEDs that are going to be quite modular and need to be expanded or to be replicated into the same city or into different cities. And of course, we are talking again about the people. If people are not going to be part of this transition, the PED experiment is going to fail. We need people to be on the forefront. We need people to take advantage of these tools, and we need people to replicate all these activities in order to expand the PED experiment across Europe.
There's a great sense of collective action that comes in there, because obviously, as you mentioned, PEDs do not operate alone, and they need to be integrated within the cities, and people have to be on board. So the citizens have to be also
part of the main drivers of these PED urban transformations in districts. So thank you so much, Christos. I'd like to go on to the next project, PEDvolution. We have Minna Kuivalainen, which has not spoken yet. And let me briefly introduce her as the behavioral scientist of Smart Innovation Norway. She brings insights from social sciences perspectives into energy research in research and innovation programs, such as the one she is representing today, so PEDvolution. Hello, Minna, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. So my first question is a bit to set the scene. So we've been seeing what PEDs are, and Christos has been walking us through that as well. PEDs are often defined through a technical lens and primarily in terms of energy surplus, as we have mentioned. But shouldn't we pause to ask, what does the word positive really mean? If we take that question seriously, then we should also have to ask, positive for whom and in what ways?
Yes, so I wanted to start with this reflection of really the meaning of positive, and seeing it as not only this sort of positive or energy surplus, but also looking at it through the lens of positive in terms of different dimensions in local neighborhoods and communities, looking at the sort of energy and environmental performance, but then also the sort of economic value and this kind of social and local value or relevance. So the idea is that PEDs or PEDs, they can be successful when they sort of bring value that is shared, understood and shaped by everybody involved. So this includes the local citizens, residents, and also different stakeholders that need to sort of work and operate together. And when I use the word value, I'm not referring only to the economic value, but really other things that have meaning when in people's lives, such as was mentioned in the earlier presentation about maybe clean air, comfort of your house, sense of neighborhood. However, since PEDs, they are really different from each other, as we heard, listening to the project presentations as well, this positive, it kind of eventually needs to be defined and understood locally, like what is really relevant in that local setting where you're operating for local residents, businesses, and so on. So it actually should be defined together with communities and with people, and this is where the sort of citizen and stakeholder engagement comes into play. So involving citizens, involving different stakeholders into this conversation to understand what really matters locally, I think that's really important. And this is what is sort of then supporting the long lasting impact of what we are doing.
Definitely, and as you mentioned, PEDs are indeed extremely different from one another, and they stem from bottom-up community-driven initiatives to top-down municipal or utility-led efforts. So they can involve a wide range of actors, really, from residents and local businesses to city authorities and energy providers. So what kind of engagement strategies work in such diverse and local contexts, and what can we learn across them?
Yeah, so as we discussed, really I've heard sometimes it's said that if you've seen one PED, you have seen one PED, because they can be so different from each other. So they really vary. There are different governance structures, actors involved, they can operate in really different levels, like thinking about starting from sort of household level and moving up to neighborhood and or community and even district levels. And so it's difficult to name specific strategies, let's put it that way, that would function for called PEDs. Really, the sort of engagement strategies and activities, they need to be adapted to the local realities. But then there can be some higher level processes and strategies that from which we can learn from. And I'd say that in all cases, these kind of cross-cutting themes such as leadership, building trust between different actors, sort of building and constructing motivation, they are shared elements between all the PEDs. But then eventually the interventions that we do, the outcomes, they will really be locally shaped and determined and kind of look different in different settings. But for example, how we approach this heterogeneity in PEDvolution, the social innovation or stakeholder engagement approach that we have proposed for this project, it's this kind of an overarching process with 4 different steps. It's really starting to sort of looking at what are my goals and aims in this particular setting, what kind of interventions I'm planning to introduce, understanding who are then the sort of key players and stakeholders regarding these activities that have been proposed for this particular PED, and then really approaching, discussing with these stakeholders, collecting information and understanding the different viewpoints and sort of needs and preferences of those stakeholders, be them citizens or other kind of like local businesses, municipal actors, different type of relevant actors for the PED. With all that information and sort of going through it and co-creating together with these stakeholders, we can then build up these local action plans, looking at, by action plan, I mean quite a lot on this kind of like strategic stakeholder engagement lens, but this can also mean that we need to change, for example, something based on the suggestions of our stakeholders, so that we can build and contribute our interventions in a way that they really are kind of locally accepted and bring this joint value to everybody. And in these processes, it's also really important then to every now and then sort of stop and assess what we are doing and see if that still makes sense for our end users, stakeholders, and citizens, and possibly take alternative action in case that is needed at that point. So we are looking at the engagement through this overarching like process or strategy, and then supporting all of these steps with different tools, that kind of soft tools that are then adapted and accommodated locally, so that we are able to respond to the local realities that we operate.
Thank you, Mina. My understanding is that it really does become a sort of reiterative process that needs a spot-on recalculation as the PED evolves. But as you've presented the stakeholder engagement and how it really becomes an integral part of the strategy of PEDvolution, sometimes it ends up competing, the stakeholder engagement, with priorities such as technical design, business modeling, or regulatory compliance. So is this one of the common mistakes that we keep repeating? So treating engagement as something secondary. What could we do differently to make sure that the social innovation and stakeholder engagement are not sidelined?
Yeah, if we think about challenges potential challenges related to this stakeholder and citizen engagement, sometimes, yeah, there are these competing priorities between different components of the project, but then other challenges that are often brought to my attention, for example, is that, yes, we try to organize these events and sessions with people, but it's not always so easy to actually mobilize people. And we are also competing from the sort of attention of citizens who have their sort of everyday preoccupations and interests and so on. So how do we deal with these realities? I do acknowledge and admit, I think it's well acknowledged that stakeholder engagement, it takes time, and often you really need to start with this kind of trust building and finding people and like needing to go out there where people are and making your case. So it does take time. But I think that if we really think engagement as through this kind of a lens of strategic enabler, so actually understanding the sort of needs of the participants and residents and potential end user, it helps to identify these kind of early risks, and taking action to modify those. The enhanced participation, it increases shared ownership and sort of more long-lasting adoption of our other tools or interventions and whatnot, which also then increases the sort of legitimacy of the actions that we do. It also kind of helps to make more realistic kind of business decisions. It can help to have more accepted technical solutions, and equally kind of create this, it can contribute to creating this kind of local social fabric, sense of community and so on. So if we take a look at it from that perspective, then I can maybe ask that can we afford not to invest time and resources into this, because then the sort of impact and consequences could be pretty different on what we do.
So thank you, Mina, because this is really truly interesting of understanding how PEDvolution actually puts stakeholder engagement and citizen engagement at the forefront of its strategy. So if people have joined as our speaker here was responding to my questions, and in case you were wondering, what my main takeaway is that PEDvolution basically does PD scoping, understands who the stakeholders are, and really evaluates the needs of these stakeholders through a reiterative process of the development of a PED. So thank you so much, Mina, for walking us through PEDvolution and its strategy. Right now, let me introduce you to the InterPED representative, Valentina Yanev, which is a senior researcher at the Pupin Institute, the University of Belgrade, and to whom I'm going to be asking my next questions. So, hello, Valentina, and welcome.
Hello.
Question,
Do you hear me?
Hello. Yes, we hear you perfectly well. Thank you for being here. So the first question is diverted a little bit to explaining the concept of data spaces and the role they have in InterPED and its relevance for implementation solutions for positive energy districts.
Sure. I would like to go back to February 2020 when the European Commission announced European data strategy. With the goals of boosting the European economy in alignment with the core European ideas of privacy, fairness, of competition and self-determination. So in this strategy, indeed, a cornerstone is the data space concept. Sorry, Eugenia, you have in the slide. Okay, I see your name across the picture. So I don't know if it's everything for. Okay. Okay, thanks a lot. So yes, so in this European data spaces concept, the data space is foreseen as a data ecosystem, and the positive energy district is indeed this data ecosystem in the energy data spaces part of the data spaces for Europe. So this data ecosystem has its stakeholders, as we discussed in previous presentations, and has its own software infrastructure. So how these stakeholders exchange data, how the intelligence services are running, deployed, and everything. So the general idea behind the data spaces for Europe is setting up this needed software architecture to allow mutual trust of parallel, overlapping, and even nested data spaces. And in the previous presentations, my colleagues talked about this interoperability between PEDs, so interoperability inside the positive energy district, interoperability between PEDs, and in vertical and horizontal dimension. So what we see in this slide is in InterPED, we are building this ecosystem. We have the InterPED interoperable platform, and this interoperable platform serves this ecosystem. However, we are aiming on a standardized platform where replication will not be a problem if I take the services that are developed here to be deployed in another positive energy districts, or to solve problems in another part of Europe. So here I have presented 4 pilots from 4 different countries, but whatever we are developing, and also the names of the all projects that are presented today are about harmonization, about interoperability of these ecosystems for energy. So what we are doing in this, we are testing the concept on local level, on the level of local energy communities or positive energy districts. So this is my explanation how what is the link between positive energy districts and the concept of data spaces.
Thank you, Valentina. It's very interesting to see that side of need for interoperability in PEDs, but also between PEDs, and with this vertical and horizontal integration dimension that you walked us through. But I'm assuming that these energy flows produce a lot of real-time data. So what is the resolution of the data collected and processed within your solution, within the InterPED ecosystem?
So we in energy domain have to obey some standards that are in energy domain. We are trying to solve problems on related to data management with a resolution from milliseconds to resolution of, for example, services that are run once a day or on each 15 minutes. And so for building this ecosystem, we would like to indeed, as I mentioned, we would like to standardize the way we are building the ecosystem. So here in InterPED, indeed, we have proposed a 5-step methodology how to solve the problem or how to approach the problem. So first we have to see the requirements. For example, if we have to build an interoperable platform for energy domain, obviously we have to be aligned with the smart grid architecture model. And in the previous slide, it was indeed all these different colors for different layers of the smart grid architecture model. So if these layers, these layers, as I mentioned, are working on different time frames. So on the edge, the data is collected in milliseconds and then processed in milliseconds. So for this, we need then edge computer that will process or do the forecasting needed for, if not on milliseconds, then in 1 minute, for example, to detect some problems, alarms, and so on. And on 15 minutes, when it comes to forecasting the, for example, the production, electricity production for renewable energy sources.
Do you see any challenges in the integration of the solution with the smart grids?
Yes, that is why in order to indeed address the challenges, we are going towards this standardization, offering standard solutions. But to standardize, it's difficult. The biggest challenge here is the diversity of assets first on the layer of assets in the smart grid architecture model. On the bottom are assets. So we have to offer these interfaces on the asset level and also on communication level. We have to offer standardized interfaces to come to the automate the data collection process. But the biggest problem, yes, we have diversity in data management layer, but the biggest problem is to somehow to accommodate this diversity when it comes to functional layer. In the functional layer, we have forecasters or forecasting services. We have cross-vector optimizer that have to work in different for different settings. So forecasters based on data-driven artificial intelligence models will not, if they are customized for Ireland, they will not work in Greece. So we have to accommodate, or we try to shorten the time of customization of these services. So it's challenging. So this is the biggest challenge. So, and if we are, so the challenge is the diversity, then the challenge, once we have the, for example, everything, we fix the forecasters, we fix the cross-vector optimizer, although, as I said, diversity is a big problem, because for each configuration, we need a different optimizer. But then once we have the platform, we have to platform to deploy. So the deployment of the platform is also a challenge in a sense, as Mina discussed in the previous talk about the acceptance. So we have to prepare the end users for accepting the tools that are collecting their data. So they have to be aware of the privacy issues, and they have to cooperate in order that these systems are put in practice. So this is the challenges on the side towards the end users. If they are houses, residential sector. So challenges towards the grid, integration of the grid, there are challenges. And these have to be solved with tools for analyzing the challenges of integrating the platform or the aggregator platform in the existing grid. So in order to implement, to put everything in place, to do the deployment, legal preconditions are the must. So all these have to be communicated, and DCOs have a very important role here because this assessment of the challenges for integration of one PED positive energy district or one aggregation platform with the existing grid is a challenge that have to be approved by the officials, whoever is maintaining the grid. And here, yes, I mentioned the semantic interoperability challenges that we are testing in, I think, in all positive energy district projects. And to speed up this replicability of the solutions. So what we are doing is reusing of data models. So on one side, we are standardized. We are following for example, common information model. We are following W3C standards, XML, then JSON, data exchange, JSON LD, some examples, and so we are trying to speed up this adoption of the technologies because the goals for climate neutrality are very somehow pressing to, I think, to the citizens, to all the governments.
It's great, Valentina, and thank you for giving us your perspective and InterPED's perspective on the importance of these data spaces. And especially interesting because it came after Mina's presentation of the PEDvolution project, and her answers kind of complemented yours, and as in the sense of what is the infrastructure needed from the PED point of view, but also what is needed from the stakeholder engagement and how these two go hand in hand for the correct development of a PED. So now I'm happy to jump to the next set of questions, which are diverted to Monica Barroso, which is representing ASEN Project. She's a senior researcher, lecturer, and project lead at the Sustainability Innovation Lab and head of executive education of the Competence Center for Social Innovation, both at the University of St. Gallen. So welcome, Monica. It's great to be here with you. My first question is kind of to understand from your perspective, how do local governance structures and stakeholder ecosystems influence the design of viable business models for PEDs?
Thanks, Eugenia, for having me, and thanks for this important question. Well, to begin with, I think it's important to remember that business models are inherently multi-stakeholder in nature. At the core of the business models, there are different questions that we ask and answer that require multi-stakeholders perspective. So let me just, okay, so it's working. So there are four core dimensions of the way we work with and understand business models. For example, who are the target customers to start with? So who are the beneficiaries or the key partners? What is being offered? What is the value proposition? What is the problem that is being solved? How is this value created, delivered, and sustained, and why it is viable? And what are the financial schemes, the revenue models that ensure that environmental, social, and economic sustainability will come into place? So designing a sound business model means effectively answering these four questions. But implementing a viable business model, especially in the context of PEDs, requires activating local ecosystems. So stakeholders must be engaged from the beginning, from the outset, aware and committed to their roles and to the success of the model. So no single actor, no single stakeholder will do it alone. So in this sense, building business models for PEDs is not just a technical or financial exercise as we are used to think about when we talk about business models. It usually comes to the more financial dimension, but it's much more a systemic or an ecosystemic exercise because it relies on the quality of relationships, on breaking down silos, on fostering creative dialogue among different actors and different interests and capacities. So from our experience working with the ASEAN cities, we've seen that contexts with strong local governance and dynamic collaborative stakeholder ecosystems tend to foster more creative and future-oriented discussions. And these settings allow greater freedom to explore innovation in terms of financial mechanisms or citizen engagement, simply because there is a baseline of trust and aligned goals. So this is why in our work with the cities, multi-stakeholder workshops are key, because when a variety of different perspectives and voices are included during the initial stages of the design of a business model, the process naturally builds shared understanding, language, and increases the likelihood of a successful implementation.
This builds up a little bit to PEDvolution's presentation in terms of understanding really where the engagement, stakeholder engagement strategy lies in and how it begins. So it was my question now is a bit more towards are there any tools or methods developed within the project, in this case Ascend project, to support better decision making or planning around PED business models?
Yes, we at the University of St. Gallen, as partners of the consortium, have developed a customized tool for the ASEAN cities to support them in developing, ideating or validating existing business models. So the image that I'm showing right now shows this combined approach. So we combine our own business model approach, the 4 questions that I just mentioned, with the city business model canvas, and in combination with, just a second, with a card set. So this is a set of cards that include all those 4 different dimensions and bring additional inputs related to stakeholders or to the mechanisms on how to deliver the value proposition, the financial alternatives or schemes to make these business models viable. So we have customized and developed these specific cards for the PED context. And here in the pictures, you can see some of the workshops that we have already facilitated with a 7 out of actually 4 or 5, 6 out of the 7 ASEAN cities, and where the different stakeholders are brought around the table to discuss the business models around one specific solution that involves these different stakeholders of that city. So the objectives of this workshop series that we have been developing and testing and iterating with the cities are to familiarize city decision makers and solution owners with the business model concept and mindset in the PED context, and not only to become familiar with the content and the definitions, but also to experiment with the concept and develop business model prototypes using one specific solution at a time. And we guide the cities throughout the workshop process, also coming together for online follow-up sessions, and then in the second stage coming physically together to think in terms of how to upscale the solutions based on the business models that have been developed in the first workshop. So that's how we have been working with the cities. And here I will show a bit more in detail how these cards look like. So we have, as part of the whole tool, we have basically 3 sets of cards, each of which dedicated to one of the main business models dimensions. So to start, we focus on the stakeholders. So who are the target customers? And here are just 2 examples. We have approximately 20 different stakeholders between customers, partners, or ecosystem actors, where the teams can choose from, and that's they serve more as prompts for structured reflection and also creative conversation to help them realize who the actors are, who the stakeholders should be involved or are already involved in that specific solution. And then we come to the here are the other sets. For example, the how. The value chain that needs to be activated in order to put that business model together or into place. And here are just 2 examples out of many others that we show and we share during the workshops. So for example, energy efficiency as a service or one-stop shop, and they just choose the ones that are relevant, that make sense to the specific solution they're discussing about. And then finally, we go to the revenue model, the financial schemes. So here, again, 2 examples, pay-per-use or crowdfunding, and in the back of each card, there is a short description in case they're not familiar with that solution or with that idea. And in the end, they will select the cards that make a sense, that could either validate or bring additional insights for that specific business model or for that specific solution. So and in the end, after going through the different business model dimensions, we come to an implementation roadmap, which invites the teams to come up with next steps, an action plan. How can they prototype with the resources they have at hand in terms of time, resources, or connections to test and iterate the solutions as quickly and as cheaper as possible. So that's we also have some additional cards to guide them through the prototyping phase. And so we have been testing and iterating this set of cards, and with very positive responses. And we will also soon have an online version of this tool to make it as accessible as possible, not only for Ascent cities, but also PED in general beyond Ascent.
Thank you so much, Monica, and thank you for walking us through this PCD card game. I myself was familiar with the card game, but I really can't wait to play it. And I believe it's a very effective tool to define the business model and actually define the solution and the prototype being implemented in the PED. So if you had to describe what lessons from Ascent's work on business models could serve as a practical guidance for other cities embarking on PED initiatives, what would those lessons learned be?
Yes, from our experience, the playful setting helps a lot. So I would encourage you to experiment with not just our tool. We are aware there are other serious games available to foster this type of dialogue and creativity. So the creative space that the game, the tool presented as a game fosters is quite positive. And we observe also that that's much more than the technical discussions or the knowledge, the collective intelligence and the trust that is built around those workshops have a very important quality. So I would, as one lesson learned, I would encourage any PED project to engage stakeholders as early as possible, not just when the solutions are already developed, because it may seem slower, and in the beginning, because it requires a lot of time and energy to involve the different stakeholders, but it leads to faster and smoother implementation down the line. And I would also encourage cities to apply the fail fast, learn faster mindset. The prototyping mindset, using what you already have, be it time, resources, partnerships, help you experiment and iterate and realize the challenges as soon enough in order to make the necessary adjustments, and even when the conditions aren't perfect. So don't wait until the conditions are perfect, and we understand that the whole complexity around PED projects, they're not isolated, they're part of a much bigger and complex ecosystem in terms of political, social, economic circumstances. So we also encourage the different teams to be ready for when the right time comes. And the business model approach offers a structured way of understanding and filling the gaps of a project. So even when the regulatory environment is not favorable or the political scene, this is maybe a good time to come together and get ready for when the right time comes, and balancing short-term action with long-term vision. So long-term thinking is vital, because we know that there are short-term emergencies to respond to, but when it comes to PEDs, to positive energy districts, or any other climate-oriented solution, it requires this balance between meeting short-term and goals with long-term objectives. So I think that would be our main lessons learned so far with the Ascend cities.
It's great. It's great to hear your experience and to pass it on to cities that are planning to do the same or that are going through the same process at the moment. Was very enlightening for me, and I really encourage everybody to learn more about the PCD Business Model Assembler if they have the chance to, or if they're interested to, on the Ascend website. Now let's go on to the next set of questions, which are addressed to the NeutralPath project with Stefania Mascolo, that you have already heard in the project presentations. So thank you, Stefania, for being here and for having stayed with us. And I am going to start right away with the first question. So from your experience with the NeutralPath project, what are the biggest policy or regulatory barriers cities face when trying to implement district level renovation projects?
Yeah. Thanks, Eugenia. And I really think that we are ending, because I think this is the last set of questions with the least concrete topic, really related to positive energy district, because as we know, the policy side of everything, especially for positive energy district, is quite complex, and also it has many different factors, let's say. So in terms of policy, well, first of all, I would like to also, if we listen to the conversation and the presentation that we heard so far, we hear at the end that we have very common barriers and needs, and especially the policy and regulatory aspects has been mentioned. I don't know really how many times, but numerous times. So let's say that at policy level, at European level especially, we have many different policies that set very ambitious targets. Of course, that we have the European Green Deal, we have the renovation wave. Then in terms of energy-related policies, we have the energy performance of buildings. Then we have the Fit for 55. So really, I could go on and on with all the European policies that are there and that really support or should support cities in accomplish not only, of course, positive energy district, but overall the energy transition. So from all our projects, we always say, as part of this community, also with the Scalable Cities, let's say under the Scalable Cities umbrella, that the positive energy district can be and should be really a component to achieve climate neutrality. So in this sense, we know that this positive energy district work, and we all work also towards the transferability and scalability of this solution. What happens really at policy level, let's say, is that there is a big gap, and we all know it. So let's say that at policy level, we have very ambitious target, but then at city level, local level, implementation level, project level, as we are all here today, we see that there are consistent regulatory misalignments. So this means, for example, that we do have very comprehensive set of policies at European level, but when these come to be translated at policies that are at national level, a regional level, and then, of course, as last at the local level, there are many, let's say, different set of barriers in terms of regulatory misalignment. So we have, for example, different goals, contradicting goals, and this is something that we are experiencing a lot in Neutral Path, for example, between Zaragoza and Dresden. So we have the same goals, for example, in terms of how to, in terms of climate goals, but it's also true that then the regulation that should support these goals are really contradicting with each other, even among the same sector. So, for example, with the building stock, or the heating and cooling systems, and many other actions that should be implemented to support the positive energy district. So really the regulatory barriers are the first, let's say, and most important barriers for sure. The second, also at local level, that we are experiencing, and as far as I hear also from the other projects as well, is really that our cities and the public administration at local level are trying to implement many different projects, as of course in positive energy district, but overall in energy transition. But there is a clear lack of competencies that they can exercise, no, in terms of legal and financial authority. And so, of course, this really is hindering and binding our local administration to really deploy this positive energy district in a way that can be, as we were mentioning with us, and for example, in a way that is financially feasible. It's hindering also the social aspect of it, for example, energy communities, no, as a topic. So really, the lack of competencies at local level is really another important barrier of how our cities can really implement this set of actions. And the last, of course, it should be mentioned, as we all know, the public procurement. So, of course, public procurement at European level are extremely different at local level. We have different set of rules, and this is really, and especially, for example, in our case in Zaragoza, the procurement rules are really slowing down the process to the planning and implementation phase of the Neutral Path project. So in this sense, of course, then we see that this gap between the policy, the regulatory framework, and then the local level, which is really the implementation, is something that is really slowing down and hindering. And this, in my view, is even more important when we talk about European funded projects that has to attain to a certain timeline of projects. No? So, of course, if we would have unlimited time to do the best energy district possible, we would all possibly arrive and achieve it. But of course, that in terms of funding and in terms of implementation deadlines, we have to combine this need from one side to achieve the outcomes and these goals that have been today presented. But from another side, we also have these many barriers in terms of policy, regulatory barriers, legal, and procurement rules. And these are just some of them.
Thank you, Stefania. That was quite an explanation in a nutshell, but it went very much into depth. I'm just wondering now if the Neutral Path project has identified common needs that cities express when working towards climate neutrality, particularly in energy transition.
Yeah. Thanks, Eugenia. Yes, we do have common needs, and I've tried to really in this table to sum them up under these cross-cutting areas. Many of them, it was very interesting also to hear that are common to the other projects and the other cities. In NeutralPath specifically, it's very interesting to notice that we have such really common needs and common barriers when we have cities that are extremely different in many different ways. And as I was showing in this other slide, the diversity of our cities is, of course, we all have different cities, but for example, we have Istanbul, who is a very complicated city with 15 million people. And then we have, for example, Vanta or Ghent that are very small cities. Also, for example, the social approach is very much different to be implemented in a city that is much more small, of course, than to a huge city as, for example, is Istanbul. And this is just as a premises. But so it's really interesting to see that we do have common needs over these, let's say, 4 cross-cutting areas. In terms of, I will just try to be quick on this because we could really speak about it for hours. But in terms of technology implementation and the core of Positive Energy District, for sure, one of the main needs to really build that business model, that long-term financial sustainability that also Monica was speaking about, is to involve the local private sector. We see this also from Net Zero Cities and the Mission Cities. Really, we all agree on the fact that we do need to engage and to have the support of private capital to make sure that this Positive Energy District can last longer after our project ends, after the funding also ends. And so, of course, and this also drives the innovation at local level, the growth of jobs, etc., etc. So let's say that all our really objectives from all our projects are really very much related to this need of involving the local private sector. Another one, of course, related as well is to develop public-private partnership, which is true that are not really innovative business models, but we do see our cities still struggling on developing this kind of partnership that can last longer beyond our project. We heard the project presentations. We see that all our projects, we have many different research centers. We really have the full helix of stakeholders involved, but when we look at the transferability, scalability, and the sustainability of it, then we can see that this partnership often fell off after the project. So this is for sure a common need. And then, of course, the holistic planning and sectoral integration. This is something that we heard also from the other presentation. Someone was also, Christos, I think, was mentioning the need of integrating data that comes from many different departments within the same organization. We do know that Positive Energy Districts are complex in terms of really having to engage different sectors. And so this really translates internally in the public administration in the need of an holistic planning. So really bringing together different departments that are working across and linking to the policy with different regulations, with different goals, and they really have to come together, share data, share information, talk, and hopefully also plan in a way that is integrated and holistic, to be said. So these were the 3 main, let's say, needs that we find at technology and implementation. Also, I forgot to mention, but these common needs are really not only that we have observed with our city, but we have, for the capacity building program, what we did is really a in-depth needs assessment with our cities, with our administration, to understand really these bottlenecks and to really be able, hopefully, to at least support as much as possible our cities within this timeline of the project. But of course, these are are going to be very much beyond our power. Then another set of needs in terms of financing, of course, that has been mentioned as well, the need of mobilize private capital as well, to design investment planning and market solutions. Of course, so, well, a lot has been said, so I won't repeat it anyway. And then, of course, in general, also this related to the capacity building of our cities, enhancing the financial knowledge. And for all of us that work at project level and also dealing with this investment plan and financial sustainability of the positive energy district, I'm sure that we can all agree that the public administration, of course, is still catching up on this financial knowledge that is needed also to develop what I said before, the public-private partnership, to develop business models, etc. So really, these are a set of skills and set of needs that are, I think, common for all of us. They're not just from NeutralPath. In terms of social needs, for sure, what we all said, so the awareness of the benefits. Many times, especially vulnerable population, when we do building renovation in social housing, for example, we see that the awareness many times is low, the interest is low, so it's really important to, what we said, to design solutions that can be co-owned, that can really foster this awareness and engagement from the citizen that should be the one also benefiting from them. And let's say, so a really bottom-up approach to positive energy district. And as I think Valentina was also saying, empowering the local ecosystem. This was also very interesting during the needs assessment process of NeutralPath. What we did with the cities, also organized workshops and local consultations with local stakeholders that were randomly interested in a positive energy district. And we actually noticed that at local level, there is a lot of experts, a lot of competence, of course, across different sectors, mobility, the different sectors. But really, all of this expertise could really be leveraged to make sure that this positive energy district lasts beyond our projects. So this is, I think it's a very important point that usually it's not, it's not highlighted so much. And then last set of needs in terms of governance, policy, and regulation, as always. In terms of internal coordination, as I mentioned, the public administration need really to enhance and to strengthen the capacity to work across departments, especially for positive energy district, in which there is a lot of information, coordination, and planning that is needed. Embracing, or at least trying to be open to innovative governance models in which, of course, collaboration is key, not only with local stakeholders, but also with policymakers at regional, national, and European level. So this would be the common needs that we have found so far with our cities in NeutralPath.
And what practical steps can help bridge the gap between high-level climate policies and the realities of local implementation on the ground?
Well, this is a very big question that I'm just trying to scratch on the surface, really, from our experience with cities. So really contextualizing what I said on the needs and barriers, we noticed that the positive energy district, and specifically for NeutralPath, our cities have a huge amount of projects that are from Horizon Europe and, of course, other projects. So this portfolio of projects, what shows us really is that the cities are both, of course, at the forefront of implementation, but they are also suffering from the lack of competence, as I was saying before, and this regulation misalignment. And so we really see that if we want to really give the most general barrier or need for positive energy district in cities in Europe, let's say, is really that these different layers from policies to national to local and implementation is really the impossibility for cities to work on such implementation at local level, but then also being binded by this huge commitment to achieve climate neutrality. And so the answer, or at least what at European level has been and is being discussed very well, and I think that Net Zero Cities is giving an important contribution on this, is really dialogue, collaboration, as this workshop was named, and coordination. So if we know that cities are really committing and are really, let's say, leading on climate neutrality, with positive energy district in this case as well, we need cities to be more empowered. So really to be able to advocate for policies that are easier to implement, that can really support regulations that are more flexible, that are more common, as we are seeing that from country to country, it really changes a lot. So really cities to be more empowered to speak up in terms of policy and regulation at European and national level. If we are talking about policy recommendations, then for sure to integrate more local needs. We have a huge database. We actually have, and Scalable Cities is an example of this, that we do have decades of information and knowledge that cities have and projects have on what works and what doesn't, what helps really in positive energy district and energy transition, and what doesn't. So it would be amazing if at national level and also European level, the policymaker could really listen and take a look to this set of knowledge that has been developed so far before or when doing policy development. And finally, of course, the very now trendy word as multi-level governance. So really trying to mix and match these three levels of policy and implementation as well, and really try to foster a dialogue between the cities, and so really the project and implementation level, the national level, and the European institutions.
Thank you, Stefania. That was great. And you finished exactly on the same note that I wanted to mention, but I'm just going to reinforce it. So it's just about knowing that this decade of research, also thanks to the Scalable Cities Secretariat, is there. It's all projects as yourself and as NeutralPath in this case that tap into that knowledge pool set that is available, and then coupling it with the need of holistic planning that you've mentioned, that we've been mentioning since the beginning of the workshop. And it's also the demonstration of what this workshop is exactly about. You know, PEDs coming together, cities coming together, and projects working together towards the same goals and the same climate neutral reality. So as in questions, I've come to the end of my questions. I really want to take this opportunity to give the floor to our audience. If there are any questions that you may want to raise, please feel free to raise your hand, jump in, or put your question in the chat. This is a moment to do so. And yeah, I'll give you a couple of seconds, minutes to let us know if there's anything that you would like to ask to our speakers here today. I guess that nobody wants to raise a question right now, but I guess it's also about letting the workshop and all the information we've received sit for a while. Please don't hesitate to stay connected with us and to keep in touch through all of the social media LinkedIn channels that are at your disposal and that we've shown throughout this workshop. Thank you for being here in the first place today. It was great to spend this morning with you, and yes, we look forward to keeping in touch and staying connected. Thanks to everyone, and thanks to the audience.
Thank you, Eugenia.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.